Good evening, brothers and sisters. This is Doug White down here in Alabama, and I'm going to do a follow up on this Romans 1:18, where I was trying to prove from Scripture that this was not talking about the non-elect, the dead alien sinner that a lot of most of my brethren out there are trying to say that this thing is talking about, that God can prove his. He's trying to prove his through nature. That he's proven to the dead alien sinner that they can, and they're without excuse. But actually, what he's talking about is God's people are without excuse. And this wrath they're talking about here is not hell; it's anger. In this portion of his view, God is wrath with him. He's going to punish him. They're going to be punished. But anyway, and he's talking about God's. Let me just read it. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. All right. See, first thing they do here is they add a word here. They say they hold back the truth. They add a word right off the bat. But what it's saying here is they hold the truth. They're in possession of the truth. Then it goes into the thing about because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has shown it unto them. Well, brother and sister, I'm saying right now, right up front, that he hasn't shown himself to the dead alien sinner. And I'm going to prove it to you right here. Let's say. Okay, this is the natural man. This is the condition of the natural man. 1 Corinthians 2:14. It says, for God has shown it unto him. And that which may be known of God is manifest in him. These people show things in their life, in their character, apparently, that manifest that they know God. Say, okay, look, but the natural man receiveth, this is 1 Corinthians 2:14, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. He can't know them, say. And right here it says over here, because that when they knew God, say, these people knew God. In verse 21 it says that they knew God, say, because when they knew God, they glorified him not as God. So that's showing you right there, brothers and sisters, that that these people are God's people. And I know what's going on here. People can't, they're going to have to, I'm sure I'm glad that I was an old man. I didn't know anything about the internet before he brought me all the way down this road and showed me all these things. So I didn't have to go backtrack. Maybe I have to tell one or two people, but I changed my mind on that. But no, he brought me, before I got on here, everything was pretty much settled when I was in my late 60s. So now, these youngsters getting on here now, and well, not just youngsters, but grown people, doesn't matter. Old people, they get it wrong too. But what I'm saying is, brothers and sisters, that's not talking about the dead alien sinner. Listen to this verse. Psalms 1:10-4. They will not seek after God. God is not in any of their thoughts. You hear that? The non-elect, the reprobates, those that aren't God's children, God is not in any of their thoughts. Say, look, but here it says right here in verse 28 says, but even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge. Well, these people had God in their thoughts and in their knowledge because they didn't want to retain him in their knowledge. See, brothers and sisters? This is plain as nose on your face, and brothers and sisters. I'm just putting it out here. I'm trying to, I didn't make myself as clear in that other video, so I'm trying to tie up all the loose ends. Because when they knew God, they glorified him not as God. These people know God. The other ones, they don't know God, say. And God gave them over to reprobate mind, to vile affections. To do those things were not convenient. You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? So what's going on here is people can't admit that God's love is so great, say, that he actually has these kind of people that have done these things, and apparently they were doing them right here in Rome, but actually in actuality they were God's people. And he said, what is he going to do? He said, I'll judge these people. And he told his people, he said, but be sure the judgment of God are according to truth against them which commit such things. And thinkest thou this, O man, that judgest them which do such things, and doest the same, that thou shalt escape the judgment of God? See, we are doing the same. We're judging them, but actually our little sin is just as big as their sin because we're under grace, say. But we're not completely sin-free. So that's what he's saying. You're doing the same thing, brothers and sisters. So these homosexuals, everything under the sun, backbiters, murderers, this was going on, and apparently God has them in his kingdom. And it has them in the Old Testament. David was a murderer. I mean, not David. Yep, well, David, yeah, David murdered, yeah, he murdered his Bathsheba's husband. That's the same thing. He was complicit. But what I'm trying to say here, brothers and sisters, is that people can't admit that God's love is so great. So they said, no, this can't be, when it goes down this list of sins that they did. But if you'll look in here and you'll be honest with yourselves, because that which may be known of God is manifest in them. God, something in these people was showing that they knew God. But in the end, he turns them over to a reprobate mind. And he judges them in this present way. He said, the judgments of God according to truth against them which do such things. In other words, you leave them to me, brother and sister, pray for them, and you're not any better. It's just a matter of degree is what they're saying. I hope I'm making it more clear, because I had some pushback here, and they don't seem to get what I'm saying. Even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge. See, here we have God is not in any of their thoughts. See, the dead England sinner, he doesn't even think about it. See, those things are spiritually discerned. Neither can they know them, because they're spiritually discerned. You see, brother and sister, I hope I'm not stumbling on myself, but I had to get this out there, because there's so many people out there that have put this out there, and they think that this is talking about God, these people that are not his, he's shown it through them through nature, but that's wrong. No, he's talking about his people all the way through this, all the way to the end of it. Second verse, then on the second chapter of Romans, he's talking about look, you didn't keep the law. Is what he's saying. You got to keep the whole law. Is what he's saying. He says, but you have to keep the law, or shall be. In other words, not the hearers of the law shall be just before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified. He's telling these people that are judging these apparently they thought they were a little bit better because they didn't do all these terrible sins. So he's telling them, well, you got to keep all the law too. See what he's saying here? No, not just the ones that hear, you got to do it, which nobody's done. See, but that's what he's saying here. And over here he's saying, leave them alone. I'll take care of them. But people can't admit that God's love is so great that he has people like this within his. What's he going to do? He's going down through the ages. He's going to show his mercy toward all these different kinds of people that he has brought into his kingdom because of his rich mercy. See, people make God poor in mercy instead of rich in mercy, and they make his love just a little bitty love instead of great love. This is what this chapter does, brothers and sisters. It makes it great love. See, God has great love to a whole lot of multitudes and multitudes of people amongst. And I'm going to say it right here. The bunch of the Catholics. God has great multitudes, in this poor country boy's opinion, great multitudes of Catholic people that he loves. And for whatever reason, they were born into the, but I tell you what, there's lots of them over there that know God. And look, everybody, the Baptists, the Southern Baptists, all that is now is is a different brand of something to do gospel. Free, the man's free will decides everything. So they know better either, say brothers and sisters. That's what I'm putting out here to the people. God's love is much richer than anybody thinks. And much greater than anybody thinks. In His mercy, He's rich in mercy, brothers and sisters. I didn't say it everything I wanted to say, but if I do, I'm gonna put it over in the comment section when I think of something that I left out on this chapter and something I didn't want to say that I wanted to say. But the problem is here when they start out this thing, they said they want to. They're saying that, well, look here, you know, God's revealed Himself to these people without excuse over here. Because of nature, you know, he reveals Himself in nature. But that's not what He's saying. He's saying He's revealed Himself in nature to His people too, His people. So we're not without excuse. But the wrath here He's talking about is anger, in my view, and they're going to be punished in this present evil world, and that's what I'm seeing in this chapter. But people are going to believe what they want to believe. But I just want to get it out there and get my view on it. Well established, because I know I got a little pushback on this, and I know I'm gonna get some pushback. But if you don't, you can go back and look over there at the Great Tribulation. I'm surprised I hadn't heard too much more about that, but the Great Tribulation in our past. No, Great Tribulation is in our past. But anyway, I got some videos on that, but a lot of people are they're going to have to admit that they're wrong on that too, because it said you can't make this generation, that generation. I don't care how many synagogues of Satan try to muddy the water. You can't. They say, well, that's the devil there, you know. But anyway, what I was going to say is this generation can't be that generation. That's a whole nother video, but people ought to go back and look at that. People are going to have to. I'm glad that I already had that established before my phone started working. I wouldn't have to go backtrack on that. But no, brother, sister, that which be known of God is manifest in them. You can't change this. And he said, you have to have knowledge of God not to want to retain this knowledge. So this will be my second video on it. I don't know if I left anything out, but if I do, I'll put it down in the comment section at the bottom, the Bible verses that I left out, or the ideas that were in there. These people, He turned them over to a reprobate mind, vile affections. You look down there, and all this does is expand the great love of God. This Bible verse does. I mean, this chapter in Romans 1 and all the way through here. All that does is expand God's love. And if you're reading this wrong, well, then you're not reading it right, brothers and sisters. But I just didn't want to let these folks that are teaching it wrong come over here and down here, this old country boy down in Alabama, and and I'll tell you, I have at least you're getting another view on the thing. Well, if somebody on the internet is giving another view that I believe is the correct view, I wouldn't be sitting up here putting my face out in front of everybody and getting ridiculed. But anyway, just wanted to nail that down. If anything I think about, I'm going to put it in the comment section, because I always do. But just think about this. Put your hat on this, thinking hat on. And even as they did not want to retain God in their knowledge. See, you'd have to have God in your knowledge not to want to retain Him. But these other people says God is not in any of all of their thoughts. See, the dead ain't sinner not thinking about this. These are God's people. They got it wrong. This is just another thing that's been brought to you wrong. But I'm trying to bring it to you right down here in Alabama. I don't get a dime for this. All I get is a hard time. But peace and love to anybody, even my enemies out there. And look in. I'll get you later. I'll catch you later, and I'll put it in the comment section if I think anything else. Peace and love.